Ding, ding, ding. Welcome to episode 20 of Tater's Big Show Hangover. Thanks for coming by for one more round. We got lots to do this episode. Yeah, Memorial Day just passed. And I caught up with Lane Ostrow from Products for Good, the Remember One campaign. He was on the show for a couple years. And we got to sit down at his house and just have a conversation and get caught up with everything that's going on. I also have all the correspondence that I have had with you guys in the past week. Appreciate you always writing in on the social media and on Spotify and YouTube. We talked about the I Love Wiener shirt, and we talked about rescue dogs, and we also talked about my gardening hat because I was being led all around the Lowe's Home Improvement store during Memorial Weekend because that's what you do. You have remembrance. You thank those who fell protecting our freedoms, and then go and have your freedom to shop for plants and have barbecues. So that's what I did there. And we'll also get around to celebrating Kyle Busch and his life and him unexpected passing. Yeah, gotta mention that too. Graduations are winding down. Thank goodness. I mean, I love everybody that I went to, but I did do a good run of graduations this year. I ran the gamut. College graduation, officer commissioning, veterinarian medicine graduation, went to a North Carolina School of the Arts graduation, high school graduations, my nephew's 8th grade graduation as he makes his way into high school. Everything. I think I did everything, but I do believe about 30 plus years ago, Johnny had me beat with the graduation ceremony.
So last night, I go to my son's graduation.
Graduation?
Graduation. He graduated kindergarten. Now
What is that all about?
This has changed since me. I remember when in my kindergarten, we had a little play. I was dressed in a bird costume. Uh-huh. I was like a big crow, and I remember looking out of the beak, I was so proud. But now, it was a graduation ceremony. They got diplomas, Graduating kindergarten. It's cool, so I guess, but it's just weird to get used to it. Diplomas. They graduated kindergarten.
Come on.
I was so proud. I was so proud of his acceptance speech when
he gave a speech.
When he stepped up to the microphone. Today, I consider myself the luckiest boy on the face of the earth.
This is not an end. It's just a beginning.
Yeah, you're going in the first grade.
Right.
As we look back on the many things we've learned, the alphabet, our colors, the numbers 1 through 10, but we've learned so much more. Other valuable lessons like number 1 means pee-pee and number 2 means caca.
Hey, it's kindergarten.
I hope we won't lose touch with these friends that we have
made. Gee. So now, big drunken weekend at Myrtle Beach, I guess.
Yep. And for those of you that are from around here, and for those of you that aren't, after high school graduation, the big thing was to go to Myrtle Beach for grad week. Kyle Busch, man, y'all. I think everyone has heard the story by now, of course. Last week, he was practicing in a race simulator in Concord, North Carolina. He fell ill. 911 was called. He was taken to the hospital where he unexpectedly passed away. We now know that he passed from pneumonia and sepsis. The Coca-Cola 600 went on as planned. That is what everyone wanted to do. And Kyle was honored in so many ways at the racetrack. So I wanted to do something in some way too. And I found an interview from 2011 when he popped by the studio before the All-Star race, Coca-Cola 600. It was that big 2 weeks in Charlotte. And it was in May of 2011. He came in rowdy and started right off the bat trading jabs with John Boy, but they sure had a good time together. Rest in peace.
Good morning. The Big Show is on the radio, and here's the man we've been waiting for in the Big Show studio, driving the number 18 Toyota Camry from Joe Gibbs Racing, Kyle Busch. What's say, Kyle?
How's it going, John Boy Billy?
Hey, man.
Good to have you in here this morning.
Well, thank you very much. Good to be here.
You always have ESPN following you around?
Who's they? Not sure. Did you say Espen? Is that sports in Spanish, or what is that?
Cameras add 10 pounds to you, so.
I know. Fortunately, I've lost 12 in the off season, so I'm doing all right. I'm staying even.
I thought you was looking pretty good there.
Well, thank you.
Good deal. First, congratulations on your marriage.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's been really, really good. Samantha and I are very happily newlyweds of 2011, so it's been good.
That is neat. People are speculating she's calmed you down a little bit, maybe.
That's the rumor. Yeah, she's put the whip on me, I'd say. So she's
worried 12 pounds off of it.
That's right. Yeah. So she's done a great job. We've had a lot of fun and doing a lot of things differently than what I've done in the past. I guess doing things together and making decisions together rather than kind of off on the spur.
Right.
So it seems to be working a lot better for me.
I tell you what, I don't know how it worked better for you. I know you probably like a few more cup wins this year, but sitting pretty right now, 6 in the points.
Yeah, we've had some really good shots at winning a few more. We just haven't quite closed the deal. I know we won at Bristol, but California, we led the most laps and we're leading there late in the going and got passed by Jimmy and Kevin both, and then same thing, I guess, at Martinsville. We led most of the race there, and in the late going, Dale Jr. got by me, and then Harvick came out of nowhere and passed us both and won that one too. So we've had some strong runs, though. Every week that we've been up there, we've been running up front. We've been good, and we've had some fast cars. So that's all that matters. Once it gets down to the chase, that's when you have to have your consistency. Well,
I tell you what, Kyle, it's just amazing the way you dominate in the truck, in the Nationwide Series, and, of course, it seems like you can drive anything, and we always talk around like the difference. Just in a moment, could you take us through how they drive, starting with the truck? Is it different?
Well, yeah, they're all different.
Right.
NASCAR's kind of went towards this way of making it. Obviously, the stepping stone is truck, Nationwide, Cup, and the trucks are kind of the easiest to drive. The Nationwide cars are the middle, and then the Cup cars are the hardest to drive. Obviously, being the best in the sport, you want to have the best of the best driving the hardest thing to drive, right? So makes it a bit more complicated for all of us. But, the aerodynamic differences, the horsepower differences of them all, they may sometimes look the same or seem like they run around the track the same, but, man, they are completely different the way they drive.
Well, man, we got Coop here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Of course, we're all excited about the 2 weeks of racing here in May with the All-Star Race, Coca-Cola 600, and you've had success in the trucks and the Nationwide, but you hadn't closed the deal in the Cup car.
That's right. Yeah.
But I guess you were looking to do that during a couple of weeks.
I'm quite familiar with that for sure. I know all about it, but the Nationwide side and the truck side's gone really well for me at Charlotte Motor Speedway, but unfortunately, I have yet to win there in a Cup car, but. Looking to change that around this year. We've run good there. We finished second. We finished third before. We've just never been able to close out the deal.
And you had to win. I mean, you were leading the most laps when that rain delay come in, and David Ruderman snuck in there and took it
That's
away
right.
from you.
We had just made a pit stop, and the rains were coming. I'm trying to think how it went. And we pitted, and obviously they stayed out and took the lead, so it kind of shorted us of a win there, unfortunately. But
so you fired your meteorologist.
I did. I fired the meteorologist. I fired my handler. I fired everybody that day. I was pretty upset with myself. And no, we just didn't quite have it.
And then I remember you battling with your brother Kurt there, talking about the All-Star race. You almost had that a couple of times.
Yeah, last year was another good year. Battling hard with my teammate and wrecked out of that one. But then my brother went on to win it, and then the following week he won the 600. So. 2 weeks in a row, he kind of just stuck it to me. I was kind of upset, but we're looking to try to change that around this year. And Charlotte's a fun place, man. It's one of my favorite tracks to go to and watch races there. I know the All-Star Race, which used to be called the Winston, was so much fun to watch with all the special paint schemes and everybody coming out and doing what they needed to do to win the race. It was no points on the line, all about bringing home the trophy or the steering wheel.
Never wanted to miss a photo op. I see you're wearing your red M&M shirt. You've got a new contract renewal with them, right?
That's right, man. Thank you. We just signed M&Ms for infinite number of years, and we're excited about that at Joe Gibbs Racing. I know NASCAR is excited about it too because now we have another sponsor that's stuck behind the sport, and even in these tough economic times and not having quite the crowd counts we're looking for. The sponsor sees the value in the sponsorship, and they wanted to continue it and see it going on for a long time to come.
Wonderful.
That's neat, man. And I got to tell you, Kyle, it seems like, either they love you or they hate you. And I got to I'm right on that love end for you. I mean, man.
Don't lie to me. God, I can see right through you, man.
You're talking about.
There's a glass window behind you. You know that, right?
I tell you, man.
Well, people can come out and love me or hate me at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we've got a cool deal. Charlotte's putting on 2 front stretch tickets for only $99, and that's good for either the All-Star Race or the Coca-Cola 600, and it's a great view of pit road, and of course the new HD TV screen that's going to be on the backstretch, bigger than what Jerry Jones has got going on, so I'm sure he's going to be disappointed. And if you want some of these tickets, you can call 800-455-RACE, or you can go to charlottemotorspeedway.com.
And would also like to ask about the John Boy and Billy 4-pack. That's 4 tickets at Coca-Cola 600, 4 hamburgers, and 4 Coca-Colas there.
There you
Starting
go.
at only $39.75. Now they want to compete.
Buy a bag of M&Ms with that.
Well, they'll have to go somewhere else to get those. They're not going to pick them up here, right?
All right. Well, Guy, you the man. Thanks for stopping by.
No, we appreciate you guys, and thanks for what you do. Thanks for what you do covering NASCAR and having Hermie in here and stuff like that. So we appreciate it, man.
Our favorite sport, man. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Kyle
Thank you, guys.
Busch. All right, man.
I don't do it as well as John Boy and Billy did. NASCAR was such a huge part of their show, and it was a unicorn because classic rock didn't embrace NASCAR racing, and the guys did. It was mainly earmarked for country music stations. I credit them with making it popular mainstream. Rest in peace, Kyle Busch, and to Greg Biffle. Lost him in December at 55 and Kyle at 41. And it's hard to celebrate a win when there's this kind of grief lingering over the track. I remember it with Michael Waltrip when Dale Earnhardt had his crash, and we need to celebrate Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez won the Coca-Cola 600 this past weekend, marking his first victory of the season and his third of his career. All right, back to listener comments. Boy, you guys love some Mary Jane, and that just makes my heart just grow. I think that you like Mary Jane, and I think that some new stuff may be coming down the pike. But I wanted to say thank you to William Edwards Jr., Pete Messa, Doug Nunnally, Greg Flora, Michael Coleman, and Charles Hornick, and everyone else who posted comments about wanting to hear more Mary Jane. And since this is my podcast, I'm going to fulfill that wish for you and play a little bit of Mary Jane right now.
And now, Deep Thoughts with Zach the Weed Guy's girlfriend, Mary Jane.
Hey, what up, duty dude? What's the crack like? Y'all cool? We're good. Got you. I'm doing good.
Oh, how are you?
Thank you for asking, man. I just been, sitting around the house thinking about stuff. Want to hear some of it?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm thinking about taking up meditation, y'all. I figure it's better than sitting around the house and doing nothing. A lot of people don't know this on social media, okay? But you can work out and not, tell everyone. It's okay. Go do you. Zach and I hired a handyman and gave him a list. So grown up of us, right? When we got home, only items 1, 3, and 5 were done. Turns out he only does odd jobs.
All right.
You pipe down over there. Do you? Zach asked me if I had seen the dog bowl, and I was like, nah, dude. I didn't even know he could. Wow. Vegetables are so good, y'all. Explain to me why vegans are always trying to make them taste like meat.
Yeah.
Big guy over there liked that one. Take your age and add 5 years. Mm-hmm. And that's your age in 5 years. Yo, after I was arguing for an hour with a man who said I was in his seat, he finally said, okay, you fly the plane. Dude was pissed. And why is there always a shop selling luggage at the airport?
That's a good question, isn't it? Mary Jane? More serious. Okay.
I'm a deep thinker. They say using a smaller plate will help you with your diet, but like it took 3 of them to fit my dinner on them, so. I started jogging yesterday. I didn't want to, but the ice cream truck didn't stop.
Okay, over here.
I can always tell when they use fake dinosaurs in movies. Can't you?
Yes?
If a cow laughed, I wonder if milk would shoot out her nose. You ever notice that common sense is like deodorant? The people who need it most never use it.
That's very good. There we go.
I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you know. Oh, dude, it's the time. Okay, I'll leave you with a joke and then, I gotta go.
All right.
Take a nap. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting.
Moo!
Wow.
Okay. That's her now, okay? All right? Yeah. All right. Y'all keep rocking, and I'll keep thinking. Later, dudes.
Deep Thoughts is brought to you by Hargrave's Potted Meat Product, because it's 420 somewhere.
Corey Mullins posted on Facebook, Jackie is so sweet. I called in one morning and got the answering machine. Some days later, I received a call after 5 p.m., and after a few beers, I thought it was a scammer. I wasn't exactly pleasant, being I thought it was someone who was falsely pretending to be the Big Show. Then she put me on with John Boy and the gang. And then I realized, yikes. Thanks, Jackie, for not hanging up on me. I'll be listening to the new episode tomorrow morning. Yeah, Corey, a lot of people did that. We would spend half our time on the phone trying to convince people that we were actually Jackie and Tater from the John Boy and Billy Big Show. So you're not alone. It's a weird call to get, especially to have it on your answering machine. I have another note here. This one is also from Facebook, from Jimmy Hodges. He says, I've been driving a truck for over 25 years and very happy when iHeartRadio played your Late Risers podcast because I was able to get it every morning on the road. I always like the stories, the real stories. So I have a question for one of those stories that always made me laugh. And that was Randy and the Chipmunk. The story itself was good, but at the end, I'm assuming it was Billy who was doing the voice of the chipmunk. Just curious. That was. How those things kind of happened was a little bit organic, but they knew that it was a funny story. They would get the stories out of the, out of newspapers in the beginning and out of tabloids, and then later off the wire, some weird stories off the internet. They would actually be titled Weird News. And then the story itself was funny, but the whole ad-libbing and what they call Lego jokes, that was just the chemistry of the room. That's just Billy seeing an opening and having some funny comebacks, and Johnny getting tickled by it, and Randy also putting himself, what do I want to say, falling on the sword, telling his real story. So that was a real story. The chipmunk did get into their basement. It did bite him, and he did have to get shots. And so his wife did make him do all those things. So that was a real life event for him, and that was just their way of showing love and care for Randy.
Randy, you had a little run-in with an animal yesterday, didn't you?
I was attacked in my home. I required medical attention.
By Stoopy, the Chihuahua?
No.
Finally had enough?
I was sitting down in the basement reading.
You're killing me. Come over here.
And Miranda came down to tell me that dinner was ready, my daughter.
Yeah.
So we came out of one room going into another, and this little chipmunk darted across the floor, and Miranda went, "Ee!"
And what did you do?
I went, "Ee!"
Which one sounded more screaming like a girl?
Probably me. because a critter in your house is a frightening thing. So she screams, I screamed, and then we both look at each other.
My scream.
And I said, "It's a mouse." No, it's a squirrel. I couldn't tell. It was a chipmunk. And ran in and went right straight to the corner and balled up like, "You can't see me if I don't look at you." How does he sound, Billy? You do
Get out! Get out! Get out! Okay. I'm going.
So we tried to coax him away, and all he'd do is cower in the corner. So I sent.
Don't hit me! Don't hit me!
Not
in the face! Not in the face!
Now, don't you wish you'd played ball as a boy? It'd be good batting practice.
Oh, no. So now my wife comes downstairs, and we sent her up to get some gardening gloves so that I could try to pick him up and put him out.
You keep the gardening gloves upstairs, by the way?
Well, in the garage. I was down in the basement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So she goes and gets him, brings him down, I put him on, and he just sits there. So I reach over and pick him up, and I think, well, this is not so bad. And I'm walking towards the door, and he decides all of a sudden, I don't like this. And so he went nuts inside my hand.
I'm not gonna bite you.
He went nuts inside my hands and ended up wriggling between my fingers and bit through the glove and made this little teeny little bite.
Let me see it.
On my
Right
ring
there?
finger on my left hand.
Right there?
Yeah, no, right here.
Right there?
No, not that one. That one.
That's a chipmunk bite?
It's a little teeny little bite. So I figure no big deal. I finally get it. Now, my wife trying to get the key to unlock the door was somewhat comical because at this point, this little chipmunk's decided I ain't letting go to thunder strikes. You know
The door is locked. You can't get out, but the chipmunk got in. What's that all
I don't
about?
know how it happened. But I've got him in there, and now he's got a bite on me. And you know how dogs, when they get a hold of like a rag and they go, and they shake their heads?
Yeah.
That's what he was doing with my finger. So she finally gets, and I'm going, ah! So she finally gets the door open, and I put him outside, and he bounces away, and he stopped and gave me the little chipmunk finger and went on down the.
See you losers later.
So all right, so I have dinner, and it's all over. I'm thinking no big deal, So I go off to run an errand away from the house. While I'm gone, my bride decides to call animal control.
Oh.
Just out of curiosity to see if there's anything to worry about.
10-4, Rampart. We're almost there.
And they recommended that I call our family doctor. So Dr. Walthall meets me at his office to give me a tetanus shot. And by the time I get home now...
Well, first he said, come on, this is a business phone.
So thanks to Dr. Walthall.
So you got a tetanus shot.
So yeah, and I get back home, and guess what's sitting in the driveway?
What?
Animal control. They're there to file a report.
I was going to say the chipmunk and 50 of his friends.
That's him. He's delicious.
So I met with Officer Posey of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, Animal Control, who fills out a report and then gleefully informs me that I'll likely have to undergo rabies treatment.
Oh, man.
And I said, no, I won't. And she said, oh, yeah, you can. I said, well, they can't make me. She went, yeah, they can.
Oh?
I said, well, first of all, Dr. Walthall says that it's a rodent, and rodents don't carry rabies. And she went, well, really, it's up to our office to decide
tell Dr. Walthall.
And this girl, she weighs about 90 pounds. She could barely see over the steering wheel. In fact, one of my neighbors came out and goes, hey, how do you see over the steering wheel in that thing? Little tiny little girl, but sweet.
That's a good idea, Make fun of the animal control officer who has control
She-
over
no.
you having rabies shots.
And probably has a truck full of badgers that she's picked up along the way.
No, she doesn't get to make that decision. I don't know who does. The health department does.
So we should watch you?
I don't know. I went immediately to the internet to try to figure it out. And from what I understand, you have to have treatment within a couple of days. And if you don't have the treatment, then there's an incubation period. And
your wife is still living in your house?
That's hard to believe. But guess who else got involved? Because at the point I was going, I'm not going to screw with this. I'm coming home. No big deal. She calls reinforcements. Guess who?
Who?
Jackie. Now Jackie's all over me to go get this shot.
Oh, there's an authority.
So I figure if I ever want to have a home-cooked meal or sleep with a woman again. Sorry, Jackie.
Well, there's a full moon coming up.
Yeah.
If you start growing hair all over your body, you'll know that there's something wrong.
Randy starts foaming at the mouth.
Just as lucky turn into this big, giant, chipmunk.
I'm Chipmunk Man.
I wait till now because I know my wife's inside the school with my daughter. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get me some Alka-Seltzer tablets. I always wake up before her on the weekends on Saturday. I'm going to put a couple of them, pop them in there, and then I'm just going to reach over and go, and I'm going to grab her. And then she looks over. There's going to be foam coming out of my mouth, and then I'm going to go,
Make her catch
And
you
then
there.
she'll go, not tonight, I've got a headache.
Let
better catch you drinking out the toilet and look around like you get caught.
Well, the downside of that is I'd have to drink out of the toilet, John. Sounds like a good plan up to that point, though. But thanks to Officer Posey. I mean, they have a good job, a hard job to do. And
oh, Lord, can you see Randy coming in here like that giant chipmunk in Nutty Professor 2?
Oh, man.
Kill me.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
I'm crawling through the hedgerow in front of my house, catching copperheads with my bare hand, and you get bit by a chipmunk.
Hey, and the lesson learned here, if you ever get bitten by anything, don't set it free. Keep it.
You got to keep it to
if
watch
it comes back, it's yours, and if it doesn't, it never was. Oh, no, that's something else. I'm sorry.
That's a poster downstairs.
Keep it. Call animal control in whatever city you live and let them, they'll test the animal to see if it has rabies.
And don't use gardening gloves. That doesn't work.
Oh, but I ruin your life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can promise you, if I have to go through rabies treatment, my wife is dead.
Oh, man.
You know what they do?
Unbelievable. Well, I'm glad the little chipmunk didn't have to die because it turns out what a talented chipmunk he is.
Oh, yeah.
And loves Sling Blade, one of our favorite movies.
Yeah.
I studied on biting you. Studied on it quite a bit. So, what you got good to eat in there?
Well, sir, we've got nuts and berries, twigs. Did you want me to go through the whole menu?
Reckon what you'd like to eat.
Well, the twigs are pretty good.
French fried twigs?
Yes, sir. French
How much
fries.
you want for 'em?
Well, the small order is $55, and the large order is $1.
Reckon I'll have me some of the bacon. Go on, call the law. I play cards with J.D. Shellnut. I stand on the hill, but not for a thrill. And then ... kind of off-center like in poetry.
You know, I think we need to practice. We need to rehearse.
We don't need to practice, Randy. Y'all just a bunch of losers. I'm only saying something here. Better send an ambulance and a hearse.
Randy hates you.
I hate you too, you son of a bitch. No, I don't. I love you, Mama.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's the crazed chipmunk.
If I don't shut up, I'm going to go out of my mind.
All right, got another one here. This is from Dave Pearson, also off of Facebook. Do you still talk to Jackie? I'll get back to that. Then he writes, God, I miss you guys. For 30 years, you were in my life. I know that when I was listening to you driving down the road on the way to work, people coming from the opposite direction were probably wondering, what the hell is he laughing about? You're not alone. We would get that all the time. People would be laughing, or they would tell the story that they would pull up to a light, be at a stoplight, and laughing at the same pace that the person next to them. So they knew that they were listening to the show. And Jackie and I, yes, we talk at least 2 or 3 times a week, at least. Oh, by the way, I also wanted to let you know, I shared all your birthday wishes with Jackie. She's not on the Facebook. So I sent her lots of screenshots of comments. And then also when we were on the phone, I read lots of the messages to her. And she said to be sure to tell you guys, love you, mean it. She misses you. And thank you. Jackie. Jeremy Harris left on Facebook. He's a top fan. Thank you for being one, Jeremy. I'd pay to see y'all do the bartender song at a karaoke bar. Jeremy. No. Jeremy's talking about the voicemail message that Jackie left for me that has been just so much trouble for me over the years because I let it out. And I don't know that I could get her out to a karaoke bar, but for you, Jeremy... Na, 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 and the drop the keys in my beeping car. She's going to kill me for that. I caught up with Lane Ostrow from the Products for Good days. There was a time there that he was on the Big Show weekly, updating John Boy and Billy about the love and support that all the Big Show listeners were giving to the U.S. military through Products for Good. And I thought now would be a good time to hear what he's been up to, what new things that he's doing for our veterans. And so I have a new segment called Coffee with a Philanthropist. Wrong button. Products for Good is how I know you. And Lane was on the show for 10 years?
Yeah, just over 10 years. Yeah.
10 years. So that's how I met him. I remember I walked into the lobby area of the studio, and you were making copies. And he was in a suit. He was very, very distinguished, and which was shocking for our area because no formal attire was our dress code at the studio. And you were making copies, and I had no idea what was going on. So
that's actually a funny story in its own way.
Okay.
When we had the opportunity to present to you guys, the John Boy and Billy's show, to sell the idea of products for good, I was told in no uncertain terms that John Boy had a 10-minute attention span.
Oh, this is true.
And there was if I ran longer, I was dead. I was wasting my time. So I rehearsed and rehearsed. I put together photo books. I had 5 sets of photo books ready to go that took me exactly 7 minutes to go through. And I left 3 minutes for questions. Didn't know what to expect, but I was finished in 7 minutes. I wasn't going to risk crossing over his ADD attention span line.
It was like Shark Tank.
Yes, yeah. And so I go through the whole book, and I get about 4 minutes in, and he starts talking to the person next to him. But there's 10 people in the room, so I can't stop. And I'm thinking, I lost him already. Like, we're 4 minutes in, and we lost him. And sorry, this part gets a little emotional, but so we get to the end. He opens it up. Eddie asks a question or two. Someone else asks a question about what we were doing and how we got here, et cetera. And then John Boy looks around the room and said, anybody else have any questions? And he said, no. And he looks at me and he said, I'll do anything you want me to do to help your project. And I said, I thought I lost you at 4 minutes. He said, no, you got me at 4 minutes. He said, as soon as I saw who was putting your products together, my son has Down syndrome, you got me. So when he understood that we were using young adults with Downs to do our assembly work for us.
You're employing them, right?
He was, that was it for him. Like, he was all in.
He was like, I can get behind that.
And here's, so follow on now. And he says, yeah, how do you want to handle the first segment? And I said, well, I'd like to bring Lee Greenwood in for that segment and have him sing God Bless the USA at the end of our segment. And he goes, great idea. And so we do this, and you may not even know this story. So we do the hour, and he put us on, flew Lee in from Nashville, took him to the studio. We go through the whole story, Michael Crowder and I together, go through the whole story. Lee's with us helping, and we get to the end of the segment, and Lee sings Proud to be an American, God Bless the USA. And just shook the room kind of thing, right? It's just him sitting there in a chair singing the song. And we get to the end, and John Boy looks at me and goes, best hour of radio we've ever done in 27 years. That's pretty cool. And so it went from, and then he says to me, he said, I ran you at 9 to 10 today, which is our least listened to hour, because I didn't know what to expect. He said, but I'm going to replay it tomorrow morning from 6 to 7 so that we catch the other side of the audience. And then, so numerically, you may not know this, but we did $250,000 in sales that first day. And so I called Eddie and said, hey, can I go back on the show? Because we were always planning to give the money away. I said, can I come back on the show and give money away? And he said, Lane, this is radio. Like, this is going to take some time. Like, it's just not going to happen overnight. This isn't like TV where you get an immediate splash. He said, you didn't even tell people how to find you guys. You just said your company name, and we don't even have you on the website link yet. Like, we're going to take care of all that, but it's not a hurry. This is radio. So you have to. I said, well, Eddie, we've already done $250,000 in sales as a result of being on the show. He said, what? That's 50 times bigger than anything else we've ever gotten a response to, let alone get it on the first try. He said, yeah, come on back next week. And we gave away 5 checks for $10,000 each that first time.
Yes.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I would say the Big Show listeners are the
amazing.
best listeners
it was amazing.
In the world.
Yeah.
Truly
I mean, we take whatever credit we want, but it was all on them to support what we were doing and be moved by it. But I was blown away that we didn't tell people how to find us. They went out and tracked it down and bought boxes. And so they all show up early December. And we spent every day in December in the facility finishing the boxes and shipping. UPS used to send us an 18-wheeler that we would fill up, and they would take away and bring another one. And that went on right up until December 23rd, where we were overnighting them to get them there before Christmas. And so we had 2 customers. So we had by then hundreds and hundreds of customers who had all spent meaningful money, because the average price was about $150 a unit back then. And we had 2 customer complaints. That's all. And so those two customers complained and made a lot of noise. And I didn't blame them. I said, look, it's been months. And so I refunded their money, with a smile. They were exactly right. We had I didn't blame them. And then I shipped them the boxes anyway. And both of them reached out and paid for them afterwards. 10 years and had 0 customer complaints in the end. And I don't know if you remember, but you do remember, because we'd always give the customer an opportunity to write a comment on their with their order and tell us who they were giving it to or whatever they wanted to share with us. And then we would ship the product, and then they would often come back and tell us the story of what happened when they gave it away.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so in the comments, oftentimes, they would share that with us, but I would answer everyone myself. Like I didn't, every day, there was no such thing as AI, and I'd have done it anyway, but we'd answered every comment personally. And the conversations and the dialogue that ensued was amazing. And those are the things I would bring on the show and talk about all the time. And it was amazing to see responses like we got to the gifts. Really amazing.
Well, let's go back to the beginning then. We'll go back to the beginning. How does a person end up with 6 million Iraqi coins? How did that come about?
Well, it was exactly in that order. The first thing, Michael Crowder was a friend of mine. We were doing some business together, and he was also a coin collector. And so he came across this opportunity, and he called me one day. He says, "Hey, do you want to buy?" He said, "I've got an idea. I want to buy 6 million Iraqi coins." And my first answer was, "Do you have any good ideas?" Yeah. And then he said, "Well, I'd like to figure out how we can help the troops with it." I said, "Okay, I'm in." Yeah, that's it. And no military background for me. I'm just grateful for those who raise their hands and do this for us. So we started figuring out what kind of products and what we could do with the coins and all that. And it was a big investment for us to do this. The coins in their own right were pretty cool in that. So the first thing they do when they go into a situation like that is they secure the banks and museums from looters. And so they came across this cache of 100 million coins that were there, and they were no longer in currency. Saddam had decommissioned all of them because they didn't have his picture on them, and he replaced it with money with his photo at the time. And so coins are sitting there, and they start melting them down because they didn't have a metal value either. They were metal, copper alloy. So as a metal, they couldn't even. So they were just clearing it out, and they got to the last 6 million, and one of the British soldiers said, "Yeah, I'm a coin collector. You're melting a lot of history right now. Like, can we do something with that?" Whoever was in charge said, "Yeah, we can do something, but you can't have them because you have a conflict of interest, but let's see what we can do." And so they actually sold the coins originally to rebuild an orphanage that had been decimated in Basra and a British graveyard from World War I. And so the coins were sort of on this mission for good before we had them already. And we felt like we could continue that process. And that's how we came up with the name Products for Good. That's where it came from. And so that's what we ran for that 10 or 12 years,
Was that? Yeah, because that's what, when you were on the show, I know that you explained that. And do you think that's what people kept coming back for?
Yeah, it was, I think it became it developed its own life. Like it started out with the Iraqi coins. 6 or 8 years in, that sort of became a dirty word, and people didn't want to hear about that anymore.
Yeah.
And that's when we evolved to what I called the reminder coin. I've got one sitting here. So this is the first reminder coin was the God Bless the USA, which was a tribute to Lee Greenwood with a yellow ribbon around the eagle's neck. And on the bottom it says, "Supporting our men and women in uniform." And on the back it has all 5 branches of the military.
Very sharp.
And what I wanted people to do with that coin was I wanted them, we had 2 wars going on at the time, but none of us were inconvenienced by it. You start to think back to World War II where everybody played a role, right? But in these wars, we sent guys out to fight. It didn't affect anyone's day.
It's kind of out of sight, out of mind in a way.
And it was. And yet these guys were coming home with real challenges. And so I called this a reminder coin, and I asked people to buy it and put it somewhere that you're going to see it every day. Truck drivers put it on, in your can. People put it next to their toothbrush, whatever it is, and put it somewhere to remind you that we have people out in harm's way. And so we priced them at $22, which was the suicide rate per day. And so I wanted people just to say a prayer, give a thought, whatever it is you do, that but don't forget.
But don't forget.
Don't forget.
Well, I see now that they're $18 though. You changed the price. So is it coming down?
On our reinvention here as Coins for Courage, but so back up 1 second, we were $22 and selling them, and one of the wonderful things is we had lots of people buy them by the dozen, right, or 10 or at a time. And they would keep one in their pocket, and they would give one. You walk through an airport and you shake a soldier's hand in uniform, or you see a veteran, someone wearing a veteran hat, and you give them one of these coins. You see the response and the gratitude, and you want to do it again.
We need to get into what you've built. I want to ask you something, and it's blunt. It's a blunt question. We have veterans taking their own lives every single day in our country.
Yeah.
Why is that still happening?
I think we as a country have gotten incredibly good at fixing physical wounds. Like, we can replace arms and legs, and we're really good at that now. But what we're not very good at is the invisible ones.
Yeah, the hurting that you can't see.
Yeah, and it's a group of people with a lot of pride that don't want to admit something's wrong, and consequently, that's the outcome. End up taking their own lives. And it's not, which is weird and something I didn't understand when we started any of this, and we'll come back to how we got to PTSD in a minute, but people take their lives for many reasons, and that's certainly not limited to military or anything else. We have way too many suicides overall, period, teenagers, et cetera, and it's terrible. But the military guys in particular, and I say guys generically, so please don't, that's men and women, because this is a problem that crosses over. They've been trained to go into a room and determine who's the highest risk. Well, sadly, what they realize is that they're the risk in their family. What we haven't really talked about is how we got to PTSD. When Lee Greenwood was our spokesperson, I got a phone call from a doctor in Chicago named Eugene Lipov, and he said to me, I have a treatment that's working for people with PTSD. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, well, we're using a single injection in the neck called a stellate ganglion block. And I said, from the land of too good to be true, that's what that sounds like to me. He goes, and what's your success rate? He goes, well, we're over 70%.
Oh.
And I said, the medications are at 22% success. And I knew that fact already. And I said, so help me understand what you're doing. He said, I got to be honest with you, I stumbled onto it. I was treating a troop who had complex regional pain syndrome. And that just means a tingling and difficulty with the nerves in the system. He said, and I gave the same treatment we've been using since 1927, was the stellate ganglion block.
Nerve block.
Yeah. And so it's no different medication than you get in your mouth when you're getting a cavity filled. It was that simple. But it goes in C6 of the spine. And what it does is essentially acts, I call it a Control-Alt-Delete button for your parasympathetic system, because you really get a restart. And so it's not prospective, so if something else happens to you in the future, but it's fully retro. I've got a couple of great examples. One of the people who we treated was a guy who was taken out of the military in 1977, Navy SEAL, not average, so SEAL, taken out in 77 because he had PTSD. And we treated him in 2017. And he said to me, this is the best, worst day of my life. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I've lost everyone. He said, no one in my family could put up with me anymore. I was brutal. I haven't left my house in years. He said, but you just gave me the rest of my life back. He said, can you imagine all this time I was an hour or two away, because the treatment doesn't take very long. I was an hour or two away from feeling better, and I've lost all of that part of my life behind me. He said, but at least I get another shot now. What we did immediately with Dr. Lipov was we sent 5 people to him that we knew were suffering, and they all came back better. And then we sent another 5, and the same thing happened. I said, okay, we're all in. We created something called the Global PTSI Foundation, not PTSD Foundation. And the reason is, if you think about something that you can fix with an injection, it's no longer a psychological disorder the way we think of them. Psychological disorders mostly are a chemical imbalance or something that shows up at a specific time that literally requires ongoing treatment for typically the duration, right?
To keep it,
Yeah, and to keep it in check, whether it's manic or schizophrenia, whatever it is. But it's not like this. This is your body's response to something you shouldn't see, like something you really can't handle. And your body protects itself, and it creates something called nerve growth factor, which is an overgrowth of your parasympathetic nervous system. And the result is, and I'm no scientist, let me be clear, I'm just telling you what I know. What happens is those nerves stay exposed, and the result of that exposure is hypersensitivity, which is PTSD. And it's sort of like you're always releasing cortisol in your system, and so you stay on this high alert.
Fight or flight.
And your fight or flight reflex has been activated.
Yeah.
And so by hitting the ganglion nerves with this, we found that we could quiet that response and no longer have a fight or flight reflex on active go. And the result was we didn't fix anyone's mental challenge because there's often that is accompanying this. But we knew that if we could make them physically feel better, that they could take on, at least have a better shot at being successful with the rest of it. And compared to the medications that many of them were on, which was an antipsychotic and an anti-anxiety or an antidepressant, which has terrible side effects.
I was getting ready to ask.
It has belligerence and weight gain and, up to and including suicidal ideation. So I felt like anything that was other than that had to be an improvement. And so we started treating patients and we set up this foundation. But the reason we wanted to call it an injury was because that carries the very different attachment for the person who has it. Like a disorder is different than an injury. They're used to injuries, as we talked about physically injuries. This is just an injury we can't see. This is a broken arm we can't see. But if we can fix it with an injection, that's no longer a psychological disorder. So it's a little like mad cow. That was a terrible description of that disease, as is the PTSD is the wrong description of this problem. And so, eventually we gave in because that's how everyone knows it. But please, from my perspective, there was a real reason to call it an injury, not a disorder. And then all the way back to your question, $18.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say the suicide rate is 18 a day when it was once 22 a day. So we adjusted our price of the coins down to $18 to reflect that change in that number. Hundreds that we've paid for and thousands that have received it in total. I remember the starfish story of the two guys walking down the beach, and all the starfish are washed up on the shore, and guy grabs one, he throws it in the water, and the other guy says, "Look how many starfish there are. You can't make a difference." He said, "I made a difference to that one." So that's what keeps us going. Goal is to sell 1 million coins. We give away all the profit, and I want to be able to give away as much as we can and treat as many people as we can and make one more real run at this. The coins are great. People love them. It's an easy thing to put somewhere that you remember where it is. Buy some extras. In fact, we priced it so you can buy a bunch of extras for less money, and we're still going to donate 100% of whatever's left every time, and see how many people we can treat. But I sort of wanted to make one last run at this. Yeah. The pandemic shut us down, but here we are later, and we still have the wherewithal to do it, and I wanted to take a run, so here we are.
So for someone who's listening to this right now and they want to help, what's the most powerful thing they can do?
Coinsforcourage.com. Yeah. So we're going to sell, we've got 3 versions. We've got the one I showed you on the military. We've got a firefighter version. And then we got a police, which is St. Michael's, which is the patron saint for law enforcement. So all varieties of that. All the backs are the same. They all have the God Bless the USA with the eagle on the back. And we're selling it for $18. Thank God it's not $22 anymore. And you can buy bundles. And again, what I'd love for people to do is buy a 3-pack, a 5-pack, a 10-pack, whatever. But most importantly, keep one.
Give the rest.
Start giving them away. Cost me $18, but boy, was it worth more than that. We owe them a soft landing. We owe them a better answer than that. They've done the hard part. They've done what they signed up for. They lived through it. They took the risk. They understood the risk they took. If something happened to them over there, they understood that. But when they come home, we owe them better.
Thank you for doing this.
I'd say it's my pleasure, but I wish there was nothing to do.
Good morning, the Big Show is on the radio, man.
I just saw something I thought I'd never see.
What's that?
Lee Greenwood working out to a Prince tune.
Well, see, I'm a rock and roller.
I like that.
I come from that era, you know.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm a horn player first.
Really?
Is that right?
Yeah,
Hey, I play the trumpet. You ever need a good trumpet player?
Let's get a band.
All right, y'all heard it. I got it on tape. You got to return my calls now, Lee.
The guy formerly known as Lee Greenwood.
Change his name to a symbol.
Because we know he's got to change his phone number after this.
Once again, James, thank you so much for hanging out.
It's always
with
a
us,
pleasure.
buddy.
Yeah, man.
I love y'all.
That is neat. James in Montgomery, Alabama tonight at a Performing Arts Center. Then over to Hendersonville, North Carolina Friday. And Hiawassee, Georgia on Saturday. Check out funniestman.com. And don't forget James' DVD, Beef Stew for the Brain, is at thebigshow.com. You got a lot to do with that website today. And, boys, well, it's off and running as far as our part. Thank you so much, Lane and Michael, Products for Good, for letting us be a part of that.
You guys want to talk about your 2008 goal?
Yeah, we would and certainly with you guys' help, think we can get this done. Our goal is to give away $1 million in 2008.
Wow.
Before the end of the year.
Before the end of the year.
Huh.
And we think we can get there.
Let's see if we can do that. As always, we throw it out there, and our Big Show listeners, you know, we know what we got out there, and you guys always step up, and I know this is really going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
Glad we could be a little part of it, man. That is neat.
Thank you.
And Lee is text me, man. You know, listen to somebody like that you don't really know, but know that you're a believer.
Absolutely.
That's pretty sweet, man.
Thank you.
That is neat. And all right. Oh, and Hermie and Elliot, they're going to be testing tonight at Lowe's Motor Speedway. And so can you said you'd come by tomorrow to do the racing segment?
We just want to hear Lee Greenwood sing, so we want to get this done today. We got to honor for us to be here to be a part of all this is going on. So we'll just come back.
So basically, y'all don't want to open for him, and you certainly don't want to follow him. So.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But we will come back tomorrow on Wednesday's show with the race report and get all the race fans ready for Kansas.
Good deal, buddy. Good deal. And by the way, I wanted to throw this out there, too. You can ride shotgun with Elliot Sadler, a VIP racing experience. Hermie and Elliot's Foundation do great stuff for Autism Speaks. And 100% of all this goes to Autism Speaks. Whoever bids gets the biggest bid. And Elliot said he'll get you a 5-gallon bucket and some duct tape, and they'll be all right. All right, that's neat, man. Thank you.
The small print says, ride at your own risk. That's at the bottom.
Read that. All right. So once again, all right, just tickled to death. We're gonna have some of these coins that we are going to be giving away on some prize packages. So those of our listeners that maybe you can't afford it, I know it's tough out there. So we'll have some that we can give away. But would ask if you can. We'd love for you to get in this with us. Go to thebigshow.com. You click over to Products for Good. Good deal. And the new song, LeeGreenwood.com, that's on there. So I got the music here, Lee, so you're going to sing live for us.
Absolutely. You know, I've had this, I've sang this song in a lot of very neat places, at the White House, on aircraft carriers, you name it. You know, we've sang it for now 25 years. So it's a familiar strain. And the neatest thing is when I have a soldier come up and say, I have to tell you that I really don't like you much.
I know why.
And I say, why is that? He says, because every night at boot camp they played this darn song, and we all sat around and cried, and big strapping guys, So I'm proud to sing this. Hello to my family. It's Tuesday morning over there in Nashville, and I'll sing it for my kids, Dalton and Parker.
Great. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea. Oh, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart. And it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
The dog about tactics.
That's awesome, Lee. Thank you so much, man.
You're so welcome for every soldier that serves, and I'm proud to represent Products for Good. Proud to meet y'all, and thanks for being involved with us to help us meet our goal.
Our honor. Thank y'all so much. All right, Michael, that's good work, boys. All right, then. All right, Billy. Man, see, why can't I feel this good after every show?
And there was that first interview from 2008 with Products for Good, Lee Greenwood. We had a full house that day. We had Hermie and Elliot Sadler in the studio, and also had the late, great James Gregory. Well, I think I'll end it here with everyone feeling good and patriotic. At least I hope you do. Thanks to those who shared pictures and comments of your weenie dogs and your rescue animals with me on social media. They are all so precious. Thanks, y'all, for doing that. Thank you, Robbie Bald, Glenn Carpenter, Ronnie Thweet, P.M. Sullivan and Coco, Carthel Thomas and Fluffy, rest in peace, Tim Brown, Josh Dunnigan, Larry Easler and Molly, James A. Peacock, Leah Falzerano, Brian Kane, Nelson Adams and Mr. Bo, Cole Barker, Richard Birchfield, Doug Nunnally and his three, Scrooge, Nellie Bell, and Penny Pup, and Adonai Gales and his girl Dolly. So many thanks, hugs and kisses to Barry. I don't know how you put up with me. To the makers of Outdoor Hands Skin Therapy Cream, thank you. And to the one and only John Boy and Billy, thank you guys for allowing me to share their bits with all of you. If you like what you heard, and there's a lot more of them, over at the Bitbox at thebigshow.com. Also, John Boy's getting his groove on over at the John Boy and Billy Big Show Facebook page. Go check it out if you haven't already. Have a good week. Talk to you later.